Welcome to the channel. In this week's episode, we'll be talking about all the fallout from the NFL this past week. This includes players punching helmets, John Gruden's Twitter fingers, and get a 10-year-old's thoughts on some of your favorite players. Let's get right into it. Let's start off with the Thursday night game. This Thursday night, we had the Los Angeles Rams defeat the Seattle Seahawks 26-17. This moves the Rams to 4-1 and Seattle to 2-3. Were you able to catch the game?
Yeah, Rams Seahawks game. It was a Thursday night game. I did see it. I was watching Tyler Lockett, had him on my fantasy team, and he could have had like 3 touchdowns, but he just didn't connect. But the biggest thing obviously is Russell Wilson.
Yeah, injured, right? And there goes his streak, his record about starting, so many games in a row. But let's take a look at it. So Matthew Stafford went 25 of 37, threw for 365, a touchdown and a pick. The running back, the go-to guy right here is Darrell Henderson. He had 17 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. Sony Michel also had a touchdown. But what do we see from Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp this game?
Oh, Robert Woods exploded.
Yeah.
Which is a welcome sight for a lot of fantasy owners that have him.
Yeah, he had 14 targets, caught 12 for 150, and Cooper Kupp again had 10 targets, caught 7 for 92. Cooper Kupp, according, his first few weeks was crazy. Past 2 weeks, it's not as good, but 7 for 92 is not bad in the slightest. The defense, of course, the LA Rams, they're always one of the better ones. Let's look at the other side of the ball. So Russell Wilson, who you mentioned, he got injured this game, but he went 11 for 16 for 152, a touchdown and a pick. But Geno Smith came in and he was able to do some good. So what'd you see from Geno?
Yeah, he looked decent. He looked pretty good. I don't think, obviously, you want Russell Wilson in there. That's your franchise quarterback. But Geno Smith, for not having played in a while, he looked like a decent backup.
Yeah,
but it makes me want to ask, though, is Geno Smith worth picking up in like a 2-quarterback league?
Depending how deep the league is. I'm in a 6-man league. He's in the waivers, so. I mean, it depends. If he blows up, he might be worth the pickup. Chris Carson missed this game, so Alex Collins got the bulk of the carries. He had 15 carries, 47 yards. And DK Metcalf finally had a really good game. He had 5 targets. He caught all 5 for 98 and 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And I believe both of those may have came from Geno. Or was it one of them?
I think it was one each.
One each. You're right. So one each. So DK Metcalf. And then, as you mentioned, Tyler Lockett had 10 targets. He caught 557. Other than that, there's not really any players to really take a look at, especially on the Seahawks. You want to see how Geno does first. Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, Chris Carson was out, so Alex Collins, he might be a desperation play. But Deshaun Jackson, he's been really good for the deep ball for the Rams. He only had 3 targets, but he did catch 1 for 68. So if your league credits or gives bonus points to 40-plus yards or receptions, then that's one thing. He definitely helped you out on that one. All right, and then now let's go ahead and look at who they both take on next week because the Seattle Seahawks will be going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 2-3 Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to get into that game. And the Los Angeles Rams will be going against the 1-4 Giants, who may be without Daniel Jones. But we got some good news on that, but we'll get into that game as well. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a quick word from our sponsor. Are you ever in the mood for some great coffee, but you're tired of paying extravagant prices? Hit up J Cafe. These drinks are amazing, super affordable, sanitarily handled and made, and the best part, you pay ahead, you simply pull up, and these drinks are brought to your car. Get your drink today. Hit up J Cafe. Go right now and follow J_coffee_co on Instagram now and try your first cup today and see the crazy low prices. Once again, that's J_COFFEE_CO on Instagram. Go follow today.
I actually just purchased one right now.
It's
on its way. It'll get here right now.
Yeah, it's really awesome. You got to try it out.
But is it J Cafe or
Cafe? Either works.
J Met Cafe.
And personally, I recommend the vanilla latte if you guys try it. It's really good. All right, let's go ahead and go into the next game. So we're now jumping into the Sunday games. The New York Jets lose to the Atlanta Falcons 20-27. This makes the Jets fall to 1-4, and the Atlanta Falcons move now to 2-3. Were you able to catch any of this game?
Yeah. I had Patterson.
Yeah.
And he did really good. He did all right. I shouldn't say really good, but Pitts came alive finally. I know there was a lot of talk about him.
Yeah.
I think he was drafted 4th overall. So we haven't really seen too much of him, but he exploded in this game. So that was good to see from him.
Yeah. So, and also we were able to see a bounce back from Matt Ryan, who's been struggling. But let's go ahead and go into it. So we'll start with the Falcons side of things. So Matt Ryan went 33 for 45 for 342 and 2 touchdowns. And as you mentioned, Patterson, he even had an incomplete pass this game.
Yeah.
So they really use him throughout the whole game. Mike Davis was able to get 13 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. And as you mentioned, Patterson had 14 carries for 54 yards. He also had 9 targets, caught 7 for 60. But like you said, Kyle Pitts had his breakout game finally. He had 10 targets, caught 9 for 119 and a touchdown. Other than that, it's good to see this bounce back from Matt Ryan. I went ahead and picked him up in my fantasy. So it's good to, him to get back to it because we know how good he can be. And hopefully, I do like the guy. Now, as far as the Jets side of the ball, what'd you see on this side?
Yeah, it looked bad. They couldn't get the ball moving. And Atlanta is not known for having a great defense this season. So I think it's just more we saw Zach Ilson again.
Yeah, he came back as Ills. He's ill, son.
And, he looked good last week. This week wasn't the same. I don't know if it had anything with him being overseas, but.
Yeah. Yeah, so Zach Wilson went 19 for 32 for 192 and a pick. Like you mentioned, not very good. As far as the running game, Michael Carter had 10 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. Honestly, none of these receivers should be mentioned. Corey Davis, I guess, had the most targets, caught 7 for 4 and 45. Yeah.
It was disappointing. Let me just go back to this receiver core real quick because this was the first game where they had their full slate of receivers this season for the Jets. So I know some people might have been excited. If you had Zach Wilson, maybe you're waiting to see him spark. And if you're a Jets fan that happens to be watching this, I doubt it, but you were hopeful that you had a full receiver core that game, and they didn't do anything. So
yeah, we know Jamison Crowder had a good game last week. I mean, Jets overall had a good game last week. Just didn't happen this game. But as far as fantasy, it looks like nobody really worth owning Michael Carter because running backs are so hard to come by. Other than that, you're benching everybody for now. We'll go ahead and take a look at if they play next week. Actually, Jets are on a bye, and the Falcons are also on a bye. So both teams are on a bye this upcoming week.
Bye.
All right, let's take a look at the next game. So this game, it is the Detroit Lions now move to 0-5 to the Minnesota Vikings, who now move to 2-3, 19-7. So this one was an odd one. It was actually a defensive game, right?
Yeah.
So on this one, we expected big things, as you said, from your boy Kirk Cousins, and I know you started him.
Yep, I did. And
I know you wished it could have went better, right? He went 25 for 34, 275, a touchdown and a pick. But somebody who had a really good game. I mean, there were two people. Justin Jefferson was one of them, but also Alexander Madison, who filled in for an injured Dalvin Cook. He had 25 carries for 113 yards. He also had 7 receptions for 40 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So if you picked him up and plugged him in, you're definitely benefited from that. I got to ask, how's your fantasy teams going?
Well, this was the first week that I won every league.
Nice.
And it's the waiver wire. Even like how you said, Dalvin Cook was rolled out, so I right away went and picked up Madison, and it paid off. So this week I did good. I did good. Scored high too.
Yeah, in one of my leagues, I am now what week are in? 6. So I'm 5-0, and then the other one I'm 2-3, but I'm 9th out of 12 people in that league. And this is my first time. It's a keeper league. It's a PPR league. It's my first time in either of those formats, but I'm learning as I'm going. But right now it is a struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alexander Madison definitely had a game. As we mentioned, Justin Jefferson, he had 8 targets, caught 7 for 124. And one of the guys on my fantasy teams, Adam Thielen, where have you gone the last 2 weeks? This week he had 3 targets, caught 2 for 40. it'd be nice. He was a touchdown guy to begin the year, but right now it looks like with Detroit. I mean, for me, we have two wide receiver slots. It was either him, Cordarrelle Patterson, and Mike Williams. So I started, of course, Cordarrelle Patterson and Adam Thielen against Detroit.
Yeah.
So I benched Mike Williams, especially with last week's 1 or 2 catch game, and we'll get into that game, but he went off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adam Thielen, miss you, man. We miss you. Do you think Dalvin Cook will be back this upcoming week?
I don't know. Seems like this guy's made of glass. So.
Yeah. That's the thing about certain running backs. It seems like some of the top drafted ones, Christian McCaffrey, there's just a lot of injury risk that goes with them. So you got to accept that with them. Let's look at the Lions side of things. So Jared Goff went 21 for 35 for 203 yards and 1 pick. He wasn't able to do much against Minnesota as well. As far as the running back, we know it's almost a 50-50 timeshare. Jamal Williams had 13 carries for 57 yards, and DeAndre Swift had 11 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown. They were without Quentin Cephas got hurt this game. So the rookie, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you're in a PPR, it looks like he might be one of the guys to pick up. He had 8 targets, caught 7 for 65. And TJ Hawkinson also, where have you been? He had 3 targets, caught 2 for 22. Other than that, it's real, like we said, not much. Well, DeAndre Swift did have 6 catches for 53 yards to go with his touchdown and 51 on the ground. So DeAndre Swift looks like maybe the only guy to play. And Amon-Ra if you're in a PPR and deep league. All right. Let's look at who they got next week. So the Detroit Lions this upcoming week. Give me a second. Let me find who they play. We'll be taking on the Bengals. And then the Minnesota Vikings will be taking on
Panthers,
the 3-2 Panthers. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our next game. So this one, we had the New Orleans Saints defeat the Washington football team 33-22. The Saints now moved to 3-2, and the Washington football team now moved to 2-3. We had a call from our cousin last week, who is a Washington football team fan, and he said it all that week. He said, the defense is not looking good, but he did like what he's seen from Heinicke. But this game, it looks like the New Orleans Saints defense was able to somewhat put a stop to Heinicke. So what did you notice?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned our cousin Austin, because I saw a little bit of it. And I saw Heinicke throwing some interceptions. If you remember last week, Austin was saying that Heinicke, that he reminded him of Tony Romo, except for the interceptions. Well, hey, Austin, if you're watching this, he threw 2 picks, bro. Ooh. And no touchdowns.
Ooh. And he did have the legs, though. We did mention it. So he ran 5 for 40. I guess we'll go ahead and jump into the stats. So Heinicke went 20 for 41 for 248, 0 touchdowns, but 2 picks. But he also added 40 yards on the ground on 5 carries. The running Antonio Gibson's having a pretty good season. He had 20 carries for 60 yards, but 2 touchdowns on the ground. Also added 2 catches for 12 yards. Terry McLaurin, he had 11 targets, but he only caught 4 for 46, and I'm sure he definitely had the what's his name, the guy on the defense, the corner.
Lattimore.
Yeah, Lattimore. I'm sure he had the Lattimore treatment, and I'm sure that's why he didn't have a big game. But go ahead and fire Terry up every week. He's not afraid to keep looking towards him. But Ricky Seals-Jones, I mean, we're talking about. It was the other tight end out this game. It looks like he was.
Yeah, I think they put him on IR. Logan Thomas.
There you go. So Ricky Seals-Jones definitely targeted quite a bit too. He had 9 targets. He only caught 5 for 41, but he definitely had a lot of targets. Other than that, J.D. McKissick had a down game after that game-winning dive of a touchdown the week prior. Yeah, we didn't see much. And let's just call it now, Washington football team defense. They just weren't what they were last year. They were somehow able to carry the team into the playoffs last year, although there wasn't hard in that division. They did so, and they even put up a good game against Brady, but they're not what they were.
And before we move on to the Saints, I'd just like to, I think the hottest thing going around, not the hottest thing, but the rumor mill about the Washington football team is more about the investigation that's going on with them.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to get into it.
So, man, that's always a bad thing when you're not talking about the team, and that's more what the talk is about.
That's true. With Bruce Allen, the GM, they're the owner. They're definitely looking into everything going on. But like you mentioned, let's take a look at the Saints side of things now. So Jameis Winston, he only went 15 for 30, but for 279, 4 touchdowns and a pick. And one of those touchdowns was right before the end of the half, Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like no defender was even trying to contest it. He just, I believe it was Callaway, just went up and got it.
Man.
Yeah, so I actually went ahead and picked up Jameis in my PPR league because he likes to throw the deep ball, and Callaway's his guy. So Callaway had 8 targets, caught 4 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. Deontay Harris had 1 deep one for 72 and a touchdown. I'm not even sure if that's the no, it was Callaway. It was Callaway. Okay, but yeah, he had a 72-yarder touchdown. But Alvin Kamara, so I drafted him in one of my leagues. He went 16 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. He also added 5 catches for 51 and a touchdown.
Pretty good game.
Yeah, he had a really good game. He's kind of up and down this season, but that's pretty much the Saints offense as well. So I'm going to keep rolling him out there. You can't not, right?
Yep.
And Taysom Hill did get injured this game.
I did see that.
He definitely added a different aspect to the Saints offense and had to keep them honest. Let's see if they fall back to being Taysom Hill-less Saints offense without him. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and now move on to the next game.
We didn't want to mention Saints are on a bye.
Oh, yeah, Saints are on a bye.
And
the Washington football team.
Not the Redskins.
Not the Redskins. Hey, don't cancel us.
Man.
The Washington football team will be playing against the Chiefs, the 2-3 Chiefs.
Yeah.
Wow. Never thought I'd say that.
All right, we're going to have another sponsor. You want to do the sponsor thing again real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let's take another quick word from our sponsor.
From our sponsor. Go ahead, Jake.
So again, are you in the mood for some great coffee, but you're tired of paying extravagant prices? Hit up J Cafe. These drinks are amazing, super affordable, sanitarily handled and made, and the best part is you pay ahead. You simply pull up and the drinks are brought to you. Go follow J Cafe now. Get your drink today. Hit up J Cafe. Go follow J_coffee_co on Instagram now and try your first cup today to see the crazy low prices.
Oh, and it's not just coffee too. This is a tea right here.
Oh yeah, you got refreshers, teas. You also have some muffins. You got some, so you definitely got quite a lot there. After a good hard workout, nothing better than a nice, good, cold, refreshing drink. Not too much, not too sugary, and just right. Hits the spot.
I gotta admit, guys, it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna take a picture real quick.
All right, let's go ahead and move on now to our next game. So the New England Patriots defeat the Houston Texans 25-22. The Patriots now move to 2-3, and the Houston Texans now move to 1-4. Were you able to catch any of this game?
No.
I didn't catch. I mean, you got Mac Jones versus Davis Mills, so 2 rookies. So Davis Mills actually, I was expecting the Patriots to do a really good job against him, especially because he always kills rookies. Tom Brady, he actually did a good number on him, was able to slow him down the prior week. But Davis Mills went off. He went 21 for 29 for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he spread those touchdowns out too. It didn't all go to one person. Let's go ahead and talk about the Houston Texans side of things. So we mentioned Davis Mills, but the leading receiver on the team was Chris Moore. He had 5 receptions for 109 and a touchdown. Chris Conley was the second leading. He had 3 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown. And the final touchdown went to, give me one second, Anthony Auclair. So, we'll keep an eye on that Houston Texans offense without, Tyrod Taylor, who may take some time. But Chris Moore definitely had a game in this game, which is good to see. The only running back who had over 5 carries was Mark Ingram. He had 16 carries for 41 yards. They were able to, and no touchdowns. Patriots defense was able to stop the running game pretty well. But as far as receivers, they were able to get open on the receiving side of things. Now, the Patriots side of things, so Mac Jones went 23 for 30 for 231 yards, a touchdown and a pick. And as far as the rushing, I know a lot of people went and picked up Damian Harris. He had 14 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. So he was able to somewhat give him something back there. And Ramondre Stevens, keep an eye on him. He had 11 carries and he ran for 23 yards. So keep an eye. He may get quite a bit more carries here. But Hunter Henry. So it looks like, I remember the first time we had our podcast, you were asking about the tight ends they paid heftily for.
Yep.
Hunter Henry's now separating himself from the pack. He had 8 targets, caught 6 for 75 and a touchdown. What's your thoughts on Hunter Henry?
Yeah, he looked good. I remember him being good with the Chargers. I think that's why they paid a good price for him. So it's good to see him start panning out and, obviously proving to be the better tight end out of those two.
Yeah, he definitely he even led the whole team in targets. The next up would be 5 targets to Jacoby Myers, who caught 4 for 56. And every week it seems like, he's their go-to, he's their chain mover, but he just can never get in the end zone. I believe his whole career, he still has 0 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so he's like us. 0 touchdowns in NFL.
Hey, yeah. I have as much touchdowns as Jacoby Myers.
Wow.
But yeah, I guess, I was expecting a lot more from the New England Patriots defense. And then also, as we mentioned the prior week, they even traded out Stephon Gilmore to the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have just traded a bit too soon.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought they were good, but after this game, I don't know, they might be kicking themselves.
Yeah.
But let's see. The next week, the Houston Texans will go against the 1-4 Colts. So both 1-4 teams. And the New England Patriots will be playing against the Dallas Cowboys, 4-1 Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and now let's move on to the next game. So the next game is the Green Bay Packers defeat the Cincinnati Bengals 25-22.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't get to see it personally, but I kept hearing about the end of this game.
Bunch of missed field goals.
Yeah. Were you able to watch it live?
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was fun to watch because they're just going like back and forth, and it seemed like no team wanted to win it. And then Evan McPherson, the kicker in overtime, I don't know if you saw the highlight where he had a chance to hit it. He thought he did.
I did see that one.
And he started celebrating prematurely.
It hit the flag on the pole, yeah.
So that was pretty funny. Kind of reminded me of that little meme. I don't know, you guys might know it, where the Nick Young, where he shoots it.
For the Lakers,
and then he turned around and the ball came out. He thought he made it, So
yeah,
it reminded me of that.
Yeah. So boy, oh boy, Mason Crosby 4-7. Thankfully, one of them was the game winner in overtime, but he even missed an extra point this game as well. So yeah, I'm sure they're so happy to come out with the win. But Aaron Rodgers, after his week 1 loss, he's now on an MVP pace. He went 27 for 39 for 344, 2 touchdowns, but he did have a pick. Aaron Jones ran 14 times for 103 yards. But really who we saw a lot this game was A.J. Dillon. He had 8 carries for 30 yards. He also had 4 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. He's a rookie running back. He looked really good this game. So keep an eye on A.J. Dillon. Pick him up. You never know. He may usurp Aaron Jones by the end of the season. You never know. Aaron Jones also may get hurt. But, of course, Devontae Adams had 16 targets, 11 receptions, 206 yards, and a touchdown. And as we mentioned, Randall Cobb had the touchdown last week.
Mm-hmm.
He only won 2 catches for 30 yards. And Robert Tonyan, he only had 1 catch for 8 yards. So looks like if your name's not Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, or Aaron Rodgers, it's a crapshoot.
Yep.
Let's go ahead now. Let's look at the Bengals side of things. So Joe Burrow, he went 26 for 38 for 281, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Also, he was taken to the hospital shortly after the game with throat contusion, which means like a bruise in the throat. They said he's fine now, but it was something to monitor. He should be good for the next game. But Samaje Perine had 11 carries for 59 yards because was it Mixon? Mixon was out this game.
No, he played.
Oh no, he did play. So Mixon had 10 carries for 33 and a touchdown, but he may have gotten injured. Is that what I'm hearing?
I thought Perine is on the COVID list. Maybe you're getting
okay. Got it. Yeah. No, it's just surprising to see because usually Mixon's the guy with all carries. So I'm not sure how it played out there, but the rookie probably so far the rookie of the year,
man, Jamar
Chase, 10 targets, caught 6 for 159 and a touchdown. He was still available in our league, and with our bye weeks coming up, I really couldn't pick him up because he shares the same bye as a few of my receivers. But Jamar Chase is having a season.
Yeah,
he looks really good. At the beginning of the year, they were asking about the drops in preseason. He said, "Oh, it's different from college ball." I think he was just messing with everybody. I really think he was just saying that to kind of have defenders kind of give him space.
Well, teams are going to start seeing that, and it might open up some things for Higgins and Boyd. So,
yep,
we'll see.
Possibly, yeah. Higgins was back. He caught 5 for 32. And Tyler Boyd, you know, he was heavily targeted the week prior. He only had 4 for 24 this game. Also to mention, Samaje Perine did have a receiving touchdown as well. He caught 4 for 24. And CJ Uzoma, who probably picked up in a bunch of leagues last week, he only caught 2 for 16. So as we mentioned, that was probably the best week he'll ever have in his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week we'll go ahead and look at the Green Bay Packers take on the Chicago Bears.
Ooh.
And that defense is really good. And Cincinnati Bengals, let me see, will be taking on the Detroit Lions. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Detroit, we mentioned it. It must be tough being a fan, but they still try. It seems like they're trying every game. They're just finding ways to lose them.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but their coach was crying after the game.
Wow.
Dan Campbell, yeah.
Well, no, yeah, he's a really good coach. You mentioned it, and I'm hearing from a lot of places like he's a really good coach. He deserves his head coaching job. I know his GM and his prior people prior to him definitely set him with no favors. And also, let's just admit it, Detroit might be cursed at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's been so many years. But let's go ahead and take a look at the next game. So we ain't got to make some excuses no more. Pittsburgh Steelers defeat the Denver Broncos 27-19. Pittsburgh moves to 2-3, and the Denver Broncos move to 3-2. Were you able to see any of this game?
No.
Well, so I caught a little bit of this because I saw Pittsburgh was winning, and I was surprised, obviously, because Ben's been having a horrible year. But yeah, no, they looked really good. But actually, the person who definitely kept jumping out to me was Najee Harris.
Oh yeah,
Najee Harris looked like an MVP this game. So we'll go over the stats. So Ben Roethlisberger went 15 for 25 for 253, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And Najee Harris, 23 carries, 122 yards, and a touchdown. He didn't have as many targets as prior, but he had 5 targets. He only caught 2 for 20. Yeah, Najee Harris, if he can somehow keep this up, he may steal that Rookie of the Year from Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I tried trading for him in my fantasy league before he popped off past 2 weeks, but the guy that I was trying to trade with, he's not giving him up, and especially now, he's not giving him up.
Yeah. Probably nothing will work anymore unless it's a real high-end running back or something. But let's look at their receivers. So Chase Claypool had the most targets. He had 6. He caught 5 for 130 and a touchdown. So I'm sure they're glad to have him back.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson caught 2 for 72 and a touchdown. One was a really long touchdown in the beginning of the 50-yarder in the beginning of the game. After that, he really didn't see much. But Juju did get hurt this game, and I believe they maybe they think it might be a season ending.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, so which might be for the best. I mean, this game he only had 1 target, but they were able to do without. So
and he'll be able to focus more on his TikToks. So that's better for him. Make a career out of that.
Hey, Juju should have. I'm gonna withhold any comments, Juju. But it's a contract year, so it's sad to see. He's gonna have to take a pay cut this offseason. But I hope for the best. But like we said, he's just gonna be a meme for the rest of the time. I mean, he did it to himself. Let's look at the Broncos side of things. So Teddy Bridgewater went 24 for 38 for 288, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not too bad. What's your thoughts on Bridgewater? Is he taking a lot of your leagues?
He's on a team, so he's not available. But Bridgewater, I think we talked about him before. He's not exciting.
Yeah,
he's kind of like a game manager. He's gonna do what it needs to be done, but nothing's gonna jump at you when you look at his stats. But
yeah, this entire Bronco offense. I mean, so Cortland Sutton had 11 targets, caught 7 for 120 and a touchdown, and Tim Patrick also had 9 targets, caught 7 for 89. Other than that, like we mentioned, the running backs, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they split the carries dang near half down the middle. Although we say it every week, Javonte Williams outrushes Melvin Gordon every week. So Javonte had 8 carries for 61 yards, and Melvin Gordon had 9 for 34. So if you're the coach, why don't you just say, well, let's give Javonte the ball more. He's just running better. The stats don't lie. I'm sure the film tape don't either. But yeah, Even Javonte added three catches for 25 yards as well. But the last guy we got to mention is Noah Fant, because I know he's in a lot of teams, but he only had 4 targets, caught 3 for 20. Yeah, it's tough sledding over there in Denver. But they do have some like Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. There may be some guys.
I think for me, every week we've talked about Broncos. I don't watch any of their games. To me, there's nothing exciting worth putting them on my TV.
Yeah, I think when they were 3-0, we were talking about if they're like, pretenders. We kind of agree they were pretenders, and look, they're 0-2 since.
The only thing I think of is maybe when Jerry Jeudy comes back, maybe he's the star on that team, and possibly maybe I'll tune in on one of their games. But for now, I haven't even watched any of the Bronco games at all.
Yeah, no, same. But it's that 50-50 timeshare of the backfield. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody, no fan, nobody. Give it to the better guy. There's got to be one is better than the other. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could have a Cleveland or even a Dallas, but even Dallas, they lean more so to one side than the other. But let's go ahead and take a look at who they play next week. So the Denver Broncos take on the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, I might watch that game then.
All right, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will be playing against the Seattle Seahawks, and this will be the Sunday night game.
Ooh, isn't that like a Super Bowl rematch?
It is from a few years back, yeah.
Okay.
It is, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the next game. So the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Carolina Panthers 21-18. Moving the Eagles to 2-3 and the Carolina Panthers to 3-2. Let's see. Do we have any more NFC South? Yes, we do. But I was quite happy this week again with the NFC South games. Well, this one in particular, not true because Atlanta Falcons and the Saints also did win. But let's go into this game. So yeah, the Eagles win. Were you able to watch any of this game?
I did, and we were watching it for opposite reasons. I was hoping the Eagles would lose.
Yeah.
And I know you're rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So to me, this was very interesting. To me, I thought personally the Panthers would beat them.
Yeah, coming into the game, the Eagles are 1-3 and the Panthers were 3-1, right?
Yeah. And the Eagles have been struggling mightily. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were down by a lot or a bit. I think maybe by third quarter it was like 15-6 or something like that.
3-15 even, yeah. At one point.
So, yeah, man. Eagles, they did it. They found a way. Jalen Hurts. You know what? They're in my division, but I like that dude.
Yeah.
The box score won't show it this game. He didn't show too much, but
we'll get into that. Yeah. So Jalen Hurts actually went 22 for 37 for 198 yards, 0 passing touchdowns and 1 pick. But on the ground, he did add 9 carries for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
So yeah, he's in fantasy, I believe he's even like top 5 or top 10 this year. So Jalen Hurts is definitely balling out for your fantasy team. And he's, like we mentioned, he may be playing behind all season. So keep him going. Miles Sanders, they finally give him the ball a bit more. He had 11 carries for 45 yards. I know we mentioned him last week, Kenneth Gainwell. He only had 2 carries for 16 yards. But Devontae Smith, so the other rookie receiver, he had 9 targets. He caught 7 for 77. He looked really good. Their deep play guy, Quez Watkins, only caught 3 for 48. And then, so I think I heard one of their tight ends got hurt this week. Was it Goddard? Goddard got hurt, and he had 2 for 28. But Zach Ertz had 6 targets. He only caught 1 for 7. I mean, I don't know.
He might have more opportunities with Goddard hurt now, but
he may have more opportunities, but we'll see if he can catch more than 1 ball. But yeah, I mean, other than that, not much to mention on the Eagles side of the ball. But Jalen Hurts definitely getting it done at least on the ground. It's just tough because if you're a receiver on his team, you're kind of upset if you're not named Devontae Smith. Yeah. So let's look at the Panthers side of the ball. So Sam Darnold, he had a really good start to the season, but he's been falling ever since.
Yeah, he really needs McCaffrey back.
Yeah. So Sam Darnold went 21 for 37, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. Yikes, 3 picks. Man. Yeah, you don't want to throw more than 2, and then even then you want to make sure you have more touchdowns than picks. Yeah. But Chuba Hubbard actually had a really good game.
Finally.
Yeah, he had 24 carries for 101 yards. And also he added 5 catches for 33 yards. No touchdowns, but the 134 yards will definitely do it for you. DJ Moore, he had 7 targets. He tied the team lead He caught 5 for 42, no touchdowns. He's been playable every week, even this week. It's a down game, but he definitely, he didn't poop the bed for you.
Yeah.
And then also Robbie Anderson did have 7 targets. He only caught 2 for 30.
Yeah. That guy's on a waiver wire everywhere at this point.
Yeah. Other than that, not much to mention here. So Eagles won it, defeat the Panthers.
There was one more thing I'd mention.
Sure.
Just because they traded for Stephon Gilmore. So this defense, Carolina, it seems like they're going all out. When I saw them playing Philadelphia, I started Carolina because I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna eat. They didn't though.
Yeah.
Kind of let me down. But when Gilmore does play for them, I'm gonna keep my eye on this defense.
Yeah, we haven't been mentioning defenses, but this still was a defensive game, 21-18. You know what? Actually, I noticed as far as defenses in fantasy this year, if they don't go negative, that's a win. Because the days of 10 points in fantasy per game per defense, it's not happening. You'll be lucky to get 5 or 6 points.
I think more so with that, right? Do you think it has to do with like the way the rules are made for offenses?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like teams are putting up much more points, and then you lose more and more points as that happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, because of the way the league is, the way they want it to be, team defenses, it takes a really special defense now to really put up a good fantasy numbers. So if your defense put up 7 points, don't panic. That's actually pretty good as far as the season's gone. So the Philadelphia Eagles next week will be taking on the Buccaneers. My Buccaneers this Thursday night. It's going to be fun to see some Jalen Hurts against us. That'll be tomorrow night for us. And the Carolina Panthers will be taking on the Minnesota Vikings.
That means I'm starting Tom Brady for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm thankful I got him as well. Keep running my 4-0 team. I gotta mention it's my quarterbacks and my other 2 and 3 team. It's Tannehill, and I just picked up Winston. It's a struggle. Yeah, it's a struggle. But let's go ahead and now let's look at the Tennessee Titans defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 37-19, moving Tennessee to 3-2, and the Jacksonville Jaguars also 2-0-5. So I'm surprised Urban Meyer still hasn't been fired. He's still there. But Derrick Henry, let's crown him now. King Henry.
Man.
So King Henry, 29 carries for 130 and 3 touchdowns. He's on pace to shatter every rushing record ever held, and I hope he does it. He's one of the best I've ever seen, and I grew up since Emmitt Smith days.
As big as he is, too. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
He's a huge guy.
Yeah, that might be why he's so good. They're just afraid.
They're like, no, man, go ahead.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I don't want to attack me.
Yeah, so let's get into it. So Tennessee side of things, Ryan Tannehill, who I thought would have a much bigger game, but again, didn't need to because Derrick Henry did so much. But he went 14 for 22, 197, and touchdown, no picks, added 3 carries for 21 yards. I think we mentioned Derrick Henry had 29 carries for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, so other than that, not much to mention, but the receiving side of things, A.J. Brown had the most targets. He had 6, but he caught 3 for 38. No touchdowns. The only touchdown went to Michael Pruitt, who caught a lone target catch for 14 yards and a touchdown. What do you think about this receiving core? I mean, they've been banged up, hurt.
Yeah.
Julio's hurt now.
We've been talking about this core now for a while. Julio has missed past 2 games.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown had just came back, but it seems like they're not doing too much.
Yeah, you got to be hungry. Tennessee receiving cores. I mean, you got that running back carrying the whole team, but really you got to earn your respect and your money too as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the Jacksonville side of things. So Trevor Lawrence went 23 for 33, 273 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. All right, so we've been begging for it.
Yeah.
We're seeing it take shape. So James Robinson had 18 carries for 149 and a touchdown, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it was like a first and goal. They had James Robinson wasn't on the field. They had Hyde run 2 plays, didn't get in. Then they had Lawrence run a play, didn't get in. Then I forgot the whole scenario, but then there was even a penalty where they had a new fresh set of downs, and they still had Hyde out there and didn't get it. I believe it ended up turning into like a turnover on downs or a missed field goal or something, which you guys deserve. James Robinson needs to be in every play, damn near.
Okay, so when they had Maurice Jones-Drew, what'd they do?
Fed him.
They fed the guy.
Fed the guy.
Right?
Yeah.
They have a running back that's doing amazing things, and you could tell
8.3 yards per carry.
You could tell the coach is even going away from him.
What?
Yeah, he's still balling. Keep feeding the guy.
Yeah, James Robinson is a beast.
What is wrong with this coach?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I feel like this rookie coach and the rookie quarterback who was first, they're just like, I don't know what they're doing. They just want all the shine or something. It's almost like they don't want Robinson to get all of the shine.
Yeah, no, so I think I even seen it from the beginning. They want Trevor Lawrence to kind of get if not the shine, play himself into like MVP.
Yeah,
at the same time, they should be, if they want him to look good, James Robinson will elevate him even higher, so it'll help him look good. But
win some football games first.
Yeah. But we didn't even mention Trevor Lawrence did have 7 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown, so he had 2 on the day. But Carlos Hyde, we mentioned, he keeps siphoning carries and catches away from James Robinson, and snaps away from James Robinson. He had 5 carries for 13 yards. That's 2.6 yards per carry. James Robinson, again, 18 carries, 149 yards, 8.3 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Give James Robinson the ball. I don't think he did it all last season. He proved he's a workhorse. He can do it, and he's playing on an undrafted contract. Why not? I believe you don't want to do it because you don't want to eventually pay him, but he is good.
And like we said before, he got voted into the top 100 by his peers.
Yeah, no,
so they respect him.
Yeah, he's really good.
Come on.
Yeah, but so their tight end who just got there, Dan Arnold, he actually led the team in targets this week. He had 6 catches for 64 yards. The only touchdown went to Jacob Hollister, which is another tight end, but that was just a 1-yarder. Yeah, and then other than Marvin Jones had 6 targets. He only caught 1 for 25.
Yeah, he's been the letdown ever since.
Hit the panic button. Yeah.
Time to drop him.
Time to drop him. Look elsewhere. Other than that, really nobody to mention. Agnew, who returned the kick, the missed field goal the other week. He had 7 targets, caught 6 for 41. But, yeah, like we said, not much to mention here. Credit to Tennessee defense as well, I guess, for that. But also, shame on you, Urban Meyer, for more than just this game. So next week, Tennessee will be taking on, doesn't matter, Derrick Henry will beast. Let me see. So it's the Monday night game against the Bills.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe it does matter. That's a good defense. In Jacksonville, the 0-5 Jags, doesn't matter. We'll be taking on
Miami.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins, the other sad team in Florida, 1-4.
Oh man.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the next game. So this one was actually really surprising. Cleveland Browns lose to the Los Angeles Chargers 42-47. Did you catch any of this game?
Kinda.
Okay.
More towards the end. Because I believe they went into overtime. No, they didn't go into overtime. But I did catch the ending of it.
No OT.
Yeah, but I did catch the end, and it seemed like at one point the Browns let Austin Eckler score a touchdown at the end. I don't know if you guys all saw that, but it almost kind of seemed like they pushed them into the end zone.
They picked him up, carried him
because they wanted more time for Mayfield, to then go and score. Because that's what it came down to. They were both scoring like crazy. Yeah,
this is a shootout, a dogfight. The final score 47-42. And like I mentioned in prior weeks, Justin Herbert has been just on fire, crazy. In this game, we saw it as well. And then also coming into this game, Cleveland Browns defense has been killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected Chargers to kind of go away, not do what they did this game. And I expected Cleveland to not do it because the Chargers defense has been good as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, both teams just said, forget your defenses. We are going to it's going to be whoever scores last. And that's exactly what happened. It came down to whoever scored last. It's funny because in the fourth quarter, with 2 minutes 39 seconds remaining, Cleveland had the lead 42-35. And shortly after, so in 2 minutes 39 seconds, the Los Angeles Chargers were able to score 2 touchdowns. So that is just insane. But let's go ahead and let's look at the Chargers side of the ball. So Justin Herbert went 26 for 43 for 398 yards and 4 touchdowns, along with 4 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown. And the number 2 overall this season running back, Austin Eckler, has 17 carries for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added 5 targets for 53 yards and a touchdown. Man, who has Eckler in your league?
Our brother, Jonathan. Johnny.
I hope he's been playing.
He drafted him his first round. I believe it was like
oh wow, first
sixth overall.
Oh wow, so maybe he knew what was coming, but he might have even been able to get him later too.
Yeah, I told him that too, but hey, it's working out now.
We're definitely working out. He saw something. But like we mentioned on the onset, how I benched him this game and I'm kicking myself. Mike Williams, 16 targets, 8 receptions, 165 yards. I can't even say it, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah,
Mike got upset about it. Huh?
Exactly. He's been killing it. He's the number 1 receiver so far all season. I think him and Devontae Adams.
Man,
dude, he's been balling. He had that bad game last week, but still,
yeah,
I'm kicking myself big time. Keenan Allen had 9 targets, caught 6 for 75. Okay game. We already mentioned Eckler. Jared Cook this game, and Parham did have that touchdown again, but Jared Cook, he only had 3 targets, caught 1 for 29. But man, yeah, Justin Herbert, 5 touchdowns on the day.
MVP.
Yeah, he's now in the front running. Him and who was the other guy?
Kyler Murray, right? It's one of them.
Yeah, but no, there was one more who's kind of stood above. Lamar Jackson. People are talking about Lamar Jackson, but we'll talk about that game. But yeah, I would say Herbert so far. Yeah. But let's talk about the Browns side. So Baker Mayfield went 23 for 32 for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Only added 8 yards on the ground. And like you said, every week, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
So Nick Chubb had 21 carries, went for 161 and a touchdown, also adding 1 reception for 9 yards. And Kareem Hunt had 12 carries for 61 yards, 2 touchdowns, and adding 5 catches for 28 yards. You said it every week.
Get both
and play both.
Yep.
And don't even sweat it.
Yep.
There's this other, let's say, podcast I listen to, and they're like, Nick Chubb, he's great, but it sucks that Kareem Hunt's taking all those good. Dude, it does not matter. They both are playable.
It's funny because then you guys know, okay, if you're on Yahoo and there's that little chat you get to go into. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Right? You go on the player and there's like a little chat room, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you go into Chubb's chat room, everybody's hating on Kareem Hunt. Right? They're like, man, Hunt keeps taking his touchdowns.
But he's still killing it.
Right? So then if you go into Hunt's chat room,
he's saying
everybody, they're all like, man, if it wasn't for Chubb, Hunt would have a bigger day. So that's why I told you, because I had Chubb last year.
Oh,
so I don't have any of it. I avoided it this year because I didn't want to go through that. But that's what I'm saying. If you have Chubb, go get Hunt. It might be too late now. Or if you have Hunt, go get Chubb.
It's crazy.
It's just easier that way. But
yeah.
Man, they're both balling.
Both balling, definitely. David Njoku had a really good game. So he had 7 targets, 7 receptions, 149 and a touchdown. Although this did come kind of out of nowhere. So he's still on a lot of waiver wires.
He got picked up in my league.
Nice. But we do want to see if it can continue. And also, I think after a game like this, maybe Baker Mayfield sees that he is the guy that if they're in a shootout, he's the guy that their go-to guy. So,
well, yeah, and for fantasy purposes, bye weeks have begun.
Yeah, true.
So if you need a tight end, keep your eye out.
Why we say it's kind of hard. Donovan Peoples-Jones, is he a tight end as well? I think he is.
Is he? Let's find out.
Or a receiver. I'm not sure.
He's a receiver.
Okay, well, he had 6 targets, caught 5 for 70. Odell Beckham, I mean, he had that good game back, but this game he only had 3 targets and he caught 2 for 20. Yeah, it looks like they may not need him.
Yeah.
Rashard Higgins also had the other touchdown other than Njoku. He had 3 for 29 and a touchdown. But honestly, what's surprising to me is the defenses this game.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them maybe got you any points.
Yeah.
Depending how you guys score it. But, man, 42-47. What a game.
What a game.
Let's look at who they play. So the Chargers will be taking on the Ravens. It's going to be a really good game.
Battle of the MVP.
And the Browns will be taking on the Cardinals. That should be a good game as well. The last undefeated team in the league. All right, let's move on now to the Chicago Bears defeat the Las Vegas Raiders 20-9. So the Chicago Bears move to 3-2, and the Las Vegas Raiders also fall to 3-2. What are your thoughts this game?
Just everything that happened. Gruden's last game, now that we know, happened to be against Khalil Mack. When that whole trade happened.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Honestly, I thought this was a get-back game for the Raiders. I truly did because they, the way they lost last week.
Yeah.
Playing against Justin Fields, who hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this is a game the Raiders will be able to handle. They'll take care of. 20-9. I mean,
Yeah.
What happened? Here I was saying Derek Carr was in my MVP race.
Yeah.
I not no more.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about the game and then we'll go into the Gruden stuff.
Okay.
All right. So 20-9, I was able to catch some of it, but also as an owner of a bunch of Raiders players, I was also very disappointed.
Yeah.
This Chicago's Bears defense just definitely stifled, stuffed them, and definitely were able to get in their heads. Derek Carr went 22 for 35, 206 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The only guy who did something for you was Josh Jacobs. He had 15 carries, 48 yards, but he did get a touchdown. Other than that, I mean, nobody else is worth mentioning. Hunter Renfrow did have 8 targets, caught 656. Darren Waller, he had 8 targets, which was good to see. But
where are you at, Waller?
Yeah, he only caught 4 for 45. It's funny because it seems like every game he misses touchdown.
Yeah.
This game he had a touchdown. He wasn't even looking at the ball. I don't know. But I've also been hearing some things that may have been the reason why, but we'll talk about that after. So the Bears, Justin Fields, he went 12 for 20, caught 111. Went for 111 yards and 1 touchdown and 0 picks. Also, only 3 carries and 4 yards on the ground. So he was able to pull out the win. But more so, it was the defense. And then also with David Montgomery out, we were able to see what they did on the defense. So what they did is they split it down the middle. Khalil Herbert had 18 carries for 75 yards, and Damian Williams had 16 carries for 64 yards, but he did get a rushing touchdown. Other than that, the receivers, we didn't see much. Darnell Mooney had the most yardage, 3 catches for 35 yards. Allen Robinson had 4 catches for 32. Yeah, we didn't see much because, he only threw for 111 yards. But let's get into it. So this week it came out that John Gruden was in his emails with Bruce Allen, the GM of the Washington Redskins at the time, when John Gruden was in ESPN. He was working for ESPN. He was using some racist lingo.
Yeah.
He was talking about using also homophobic language. Yeah, he was even sending nude topless photos of women to, it was definitely a lot going on. So what happened is he stepped down this week as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And even before this came, all that they knew was the comment about the Michelin tires lips, which is a racist trope that he used. But you could tell, I was watching the game, you could see it on Gruden's face, like it was heavy on his mind. And then they said he even tried to get out in front of it and be like, there's more things coming down the pipeline. That's not all I said. So you could tell he knew he was going to be in trouble. And also, so I've been hearing that the Raiders players this game might have been angry at Gruden, and that's why they didn't give their full effort. So that's a possibility. We may still come back and see the MVP form that we've been seeing. Our uncle is a Raiders fan, and he's been upset with him resigning, and because this is the Raiders' best season in a long time, at least the best start to a season in a long time. But yeah, it's sad to hear about, sad to see, but you got to be real careful about what you do and what you say. You got to control your tongue and control how you feel and talk about people.
Yeah, my only thing with this, are you gonna get up?
Yeah, so go ahead and go. I'm just gonna grab something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, for me, obviously, my standards, where I stand in my life, I'm not down with any racism or any of that stuff, whatever Gruden did. But it's like these players, I don't know if you notice it, when they're mic'd up, they always tell the guy next to them, "Hey, mic'd up."
Yeah.
So it's obvious a lot, coaches, owners, players, they probably say a lot of things, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because we even know in the past, some players said, what was his name? There was a receiver for Eagles at one time, said something racist.
Oh yeah.
So we know it's probably out there. It's just who's getting caught.
Happens in the NBA
and to me, it's kind of like, if Gruden was gonna get resigned and fired, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of other coaches that need firing as well, especially for something that happened 10 years ago. So if they're gonna be that hard on one guy, I would like to see it done across.
Yeah,
on all.
And I've been seeing that pushback side of things too. It's like, he was an ESPN analyst. He's supposed to be biased and have a crazy clickbait opinion. So he's now, at the time, he was talking real clickbaity.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
And wasn't his brother the coach at the time over there, the Redskins?
Not sure.
Yeah, I think he was. So maybe he was just frustrated. You know, the Redskins weren't doing so good with his brother as the head coach. So maybe just a lot of frustration. But again, at the end of the day, the stuff he said and the stuff he was doing is not acceptable.
Yeah, sad to hear, especially with ESPN. You know, it's funny because ESPN had this checkered history themselves, and they're coming out and talking about it and bashing him, and it's just funny to see.
Yeah. Hopefully from here on out, you know, people learn and just.
Yeah, we can talk for an hour about this. It's because
it's a very touchy. So you got a lot of opinions.
The Buccaneers even removed him from the Ring of Honor, but then that had people like Richard Sherman trending as well as Antonio Brown because they're like, how are you going to remove him from a Ring of Honor? You have 2 sexual assault, you know, but that's why, you know, I try not to, I'm not picking sides here. What he said was wrong, but however, at the same time, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, we're Laker fans. We're Kobe fans.
Oh, we're Kobe fans.
Some people feel about the whole Colorado Denver thing. So
yeah, LeBron fans always.
I don't know, man. It's tough.
I always have to remind LeBron fans, hey, wasn't LeBron getting caught up in some girls' DMs too? Look it up. It's true. But yeah, you know what, Chucky, man. So sorry to see. Chucky.
Is that supposed to be Chucky? Is that the only doll you found with red hair?
Yeah, it's the only red hair doll.
Man.
I was gonna draw a Raiders logo on it, but you know what? Yeah. Oh well. It's the best we got.
Sorry, Chucky. We have to put this doll to rest.
Sorry, Chucky. Good night. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see what the Raiders can do without him. They play an interdivisional game next week. They play against the Broncos. Both teams are 3-2, and the Chicago Bears will go on to play the Green Bay Packers. Another interdivisional game. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that one. Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers. We'll see what happens. All right. So the next game we'll watch or take a look at is the San Francisco 49ers lose to the Arizona Cardinals 10-17.
Oh, man.
So San Francisco now moved to 2-3. Looks like they're getting hit by the injury bug quite a bit. And Arizona Cardinals moved to 5-0.
This one hurt me.
Yeah. So go ahead. Did you watch any of the game?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I like Trey Lance. I really do. Even though he's on the Niners, I even drafted him, and I was like, okay, finally he's gonna get. Remember what I said last week? I was like, man, I could only imagine what they could do with the game plan, you know, around him. Tough team to go against your first start, the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I mean they're undefeated, so
exactly. Yeah,
but man, I mean, I would have liked to see more with his arm because he has that arm talent.
Mm-hmm.
But he did show some stuff with his legs, like I said last week, dual threat.
Yeah,
but man, I wish they would have got that W because I want them to keep starting him.
Yeah,
selfishly for my fantasy team.
Yeah,
so I would have loved it.
So as you mentioned, Trey Lance, he went 15 for 29 for 192 yards, 0 touchdowns, but 1 interception. Yeah, but also on the ground, he added 16 rushes for 89 yards.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. You know, you want to definitely see him some more because what he can do on the ground.
Yeah.
That is some crazy numbers. He outrushed his entire team.
And he outrushed Kyler Murray, who's known for running like crazy. So.
Yeah, but, you know, it is important. You got to be able to throw the ball. The Niners' biggest, you know, the person who had next most carries was Eli Mitchell. He had 9 carries for 43 yards, but we all know how banged up they are in that backfield. As well as Garoppolo and even Trey Lance at the end of the game kind of got hurt as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah. So his knee.
But Deebo Samuel, you know, he's been having he still led the team with 9 targets, which is good to see, but he only caught 3 for 58.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, we already mentioned Brandon Ayuk. He's not having as good as a season. He only caught 2 for 32. Yeah, and then Kittle got hurt.
Yeah.
Kittle's hurt. He's on the IR.
Hate to see that.
Yeah, so
I got a question for you.
Sure.
And this is a serious question too, because I seen him talking recently. What about bringing back Terrell Owens? What about you, Niner fans? You think you guys could bring him back? I don't know. I mean, I saw an interview with him not too long ago. He said he's still in game shape, still practicing, still trying to wait for a phone call. Yeah, that's crazy, right? He's like 40-something years old, and he still thinks he got it. So why not bring him home? He started with the Niners. I don't know. That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. But however, you know, if they work him out and if he can't run, I mean, it doesn't matter. But I mean, what do you think? It's a good idea.
I would like to see it. That would be fun.
It'd be at least like a nice little promo for the team. But we'll look at the Cardinals side of things. So Kyler Murray went 22 for 31 for 239 and a touchdown. And he only added he ran the ball 7 times, but only got 1 yard in total. So. This final score is 17-10. These defenses both came to play. Both did a good job.
Oh yeah.
James Conner. Chase Edmonds was kind of hurt before the game, but he ended up playing. He had 6 carries for 15 yards, and he had 4 targets, caught 3 for 19. I had him, and I played him because I had no other options. But man, it was he didn't do much. James Conner had 10 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown. And then, as we mentioned, Rondale Moore, every week he keeps getting more and more carries. So this week he had 3 carries for 38 yards. So he actually did a pretty good job. And he also added along with 6 targets, caught 5 for 59. But D-Hop finally had a good game. He had 9 targets, caught 6 for 87 and a touchdown. Other than that, I mean, Max Williams got hurt this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thankfully I didn't see it, but what I heard, it was a gruesome injury. AJ Green didn't do much. He only had 2 targets, caught 1 for 13. And Christian Kirk had 5 targets, caught all 5 for only 39 yards. So, as we mentioned, this is a interdivisional defensive game. But yeah,
you know what though?
Rookie did pretty good as far as first game.
And I'm not panicking as a Niner fan. The fact that you played this team that good with your backup rookie quarterback. I know some fans probably want Jimmy G back, but man, don't panic. That's one thing you can't do. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. What was I gonna say? To me, I always look at your wins and losses. Once you start getting to the 6 losses, time to panic, because that's when you're normally 10-6. We got another game this year, so 11-6 wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, barely at 2 losses. So hang in there.
Yeah. What is it? 11 more games this season?
1 more game, right?
No, 1 more game. But I'm saying like they'll play 11 more games.
Yeah. So we're in what?
Yeah. So they can possibly go 13-3 if they win out. But I mean, like you're saying, even if you're 2-3 right now.
Oh, they're 2-3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, even if you're 0-5, you can go 11-5.
2-3, yeah.
Yeah. That added game definitely adds a lot more opportunity for you to kind of get back if you have a bad start to the season. Just got to start winning some games.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead now. Let's look at who they play next week. So the San Francisco 49ers next week.
They're on a bye.
Are on a bye. So the last team on a bye. We mentioned the rest. And the Arizona Cardinals also, as we mentioned, play the Cleveland Browns. That should be an interesting game. All right, let's go to my boys. So Miami Dolphins lose to the Buccaneers 45-17. Miami falls to 1-4, and the Bucks now go to 4-1. All right, so I was watching this game. I was at times a bit frustrated, especially in the beginning of the game. It seems like this Buccaneers defense, it's good we have JPP back, but we had a lot more injuries again. So Levante David got hurt this week. He's going to be out this Thursday night, but he's week to week, so hopefully be back right after that. But Tom Brady, man.
Tom Brady.
He went 30 for 41 for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. So I was watching this game, and Brady was just on point. He was just slashing and dashing. It took him a second to get going, but once he got the confidence to air it out, he was just putting a hurt in. And he did it more by Antonio Brown and Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And he was just moving the ball everywhere. We'll go into the target share, but yeah, Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. He looks the GOAT, and yeah, keep it going. Leonard Fournette looks like also he's taken firm hold of this backfield. Mm-hmm. He had 12 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown. He even added 4 catches for 43 yards. So Leonard Fournette looks like he's moving further and further ahead. Pick him up if you can.
Yeah.
He had a good week, so it might be hard, but again, you never know because we're still using Gio Bernard and Ronald Jones a lot too.
Yeah.
But with as many, as good as Tom Brady's throwing it right now, get every piece you can. Antonio Brown had the most yardage, so he had 8 targets, caught 7 for 124 and 2 touchdowns, and he looked really good, of course. And Mike Evans, my boy, he had 8 targets, caught 6 for 113 and 2 touchdowns as well. And every one of his touchdowns just always looks super good. Chris Godwin actually led the league in the team in targets. He had 11 targets, caught 7 for 70, no touchdowns. But the other passing touchdown went to Gio Bernard for. Gio Bernard caught 2 for 14. But what's your thoughts on the Bucks?
Oh man, I'm loving it as a Tom Brady owner in my fantasy team.
Oh yeah.
Their defense hasn't seemed as good as expected, but come on. they're going to get to the playoffs with Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's true.
So they could worry about tightening up the defense then.
Yeah, I know last week Richard Sherman looked horrible. It was his first game back, but this game he looked a bit better. He still allowed quite a few catches. Seems like he wants to play off kind of soft, and then if they catch it, hit him real hard. But this week he was actually kind of jumping more passes, and Jamal Dean actually got an interception. That was good to see. And I know, our defense looked good this game. Not the best because it was close until the end. It was 17-24 in the third quarter, but by the end we pulled it out 45-17. But let's go ahead and look at the Dolphins side of the ball. So Jacoby Brissett went 27 for 39 for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Myles Gaskin, we were saying like, what's going to happen? They hardly ever use him. This game, he had the most carries with 5 for 25 yards, but you can't run on the Bucs.
Yeah.
But what happened is he had 10 targets, caught all 10 for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And guess what? I picked him up. He was dropped.
Yeah.
Somebody got impatient. Dropped him in my league,
which is understandable.
And I picked him up. I had put him on my watch list because I wanted to wait until Tua came back because that's who has the good chemistry, Gaskin and Tua. As soon as I saw Gaskin he hadn't even got a touchdown yet. I just saw he was being used like on the first drive. I went and picked him up right then and there. That same drive he scored. I was like, man, I'm glad I got to him first on the waiver.
Yeah. So my only thing is with Gaskin, be careful, see how this next game goes because
So Tua's back this week.
Is he? Yeah. Nice. So yeah, but still kind of be careful because before this they were hardly using him very much. In this game, you can't run against the Bucs, so you're definitely throwing all the time. And I think he was just the biggest benefactor in that. But other than that, Micah had 7 targets, caught 4 for 43. Jalen Waddle has 6 targets, but he only caught 2 for 31. And as a Waddle owner, I thought he would have done much more. And I kind of did want to see him more, the first round rookie, see what he can do. But yeah, we didn't see much of him this game. But yeah, glad to say my Bucs are 4-1. Feels good. So yeah, we'll be playing this Thursday night against the Eagles.
Let's go, Brady.
We'll see I want to see what Hurts does against his defense too. So I hope we can do well. And the Miami Dolphins, will be playing against the 0-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. So that'll be interesting to see. And like we said, if you win on here on out, even if you're 0-5, you can still go 11-5. So season's not over for any team by all means. All right, let's go ahead and now let's look at the next game. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys defeat the New York Giants 44-20. The Dallas Cowboys now move to 4-1 after winning 4 in a row, and the New York Giants now fall to 1-4. And for this segment, we actually have a special guest, and it's our brother James. James, what up, man? Did you see the game?
Yeah, I saw the game. It was amazing to see the Cowboys doing so well again, especially dominant performance like that on a team that we know we had to dominate. So, yeah, it was good to see that.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Dak Prescott coming back from this injury so far this season?
I mean, he just looks like he's 110%. He's hitting his passes. He's doing the things that he needs to do. And coming from that injury, you wouldn't expect somebody to do that, but he's proven everybody wrong. Everybody doubted him, and he's making it personal, and that's something that I think that is going to motivate him throughout the regular season into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. And how about this running game, Zeke? Zeke looks good, right?
It's the two-headed monster. Everybody's afraid of it. You got, Tony Pollard, you got Ezekiel Elliott, and they're just, they got the nickname now, Lightning and Thunder, and it is what it is. Both of these guys are running hard. But without the O-line performing the way they are, it's just a team effort at the end of the day. But just to see this whole team come together right now, it's been it took a while to get here to see it. I'm a fan for a long time. It's been since the 90s where I've seen the Cowboys go to a Super Bowl, and we have some high expectations, and we just want to see how far this thing can go.
Yeah, and what do you think of this Cowboys defense?
Well, definitely the Cowboys defense is, mounds better than, last year. Last year it was hard to watch a game, to be honest. And, this year you're excited to see the defense. You want them on the field. I'm excited. I'm like, how many picks is Trevon Diggs going to get?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not only that, now we've got, the other cornerbacks feeding off of him, and they're getting picks. and they're learning from him, and just they're becoming more aggressive, and that's what we like to see, because when you have that confidence and you see a team have a confidence, it just makes everything so much more fun to watch, especially for a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think Trevon Diggs is on pace for like 15 interceptions this season.
Man,
that's crazy.
But, it is. It's amazing.
All right, so what about the beginning? So let's start with the beginning. So the first drive, I think Dak throws an interception. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts right off the top in the beginning?
If I'm not mistaken, if that pass was actually tipped, right? It is the quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. They're going to make bad throws, and Dak has done that in the past. But to see him improve to the point now where his percentages have gone up, he's connecting on really tough throws. I don't know if you've seen that pass to CeeDee Lamb. It was right on the money. You couldn't get in the hands better than that. And of course, Dak he's coming back off of an injury, which is crazy. But you got to cut him a little bit of slack. He's been doing way, way better than anybody thought or hoped.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, Jake. Hey, Jared here. What's up, James? So I got to ask, how you mentioned Dak Prescott was injured last year, and it was tough for us Cowboy fans. Well, there's a lot of people saying that this game, the Giants lost Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and Kenny Golladay all in the same game. How do you feel about that?
It's any given Sunday. This is how I feel about it. Everybody's going to have an excuse. Oh, we missed this player. We missed that player. Well, the Cowboys don't have a full squad either. We have really good players that haven't even suited up yet. So
good point.
To that being said, you're always going to have injuries, and that's just part of the game. You can't say that that's a reason why somebody lost to a team. It could be the Cowboys who have an injury next week, and we might lose somebody. But it's about the circumstances. That's why the game of football is awesome, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Good point. All right, Jake.
You have any words for Giants fans?
Oh, man, I don't know any personally except a buddy of mine, Craig. But, hey, stick in there, man. We know how it is in the NFC. It's anybody's – in the NFC East, it's anybody's division. Division when the teams are playing like they are. So, hey, just stick with it, and hopefully they get to build just like the Cowboys were able to build with their draft picks.
Yeah, so a few more questions before I let you go. So next week, the Cowboys take on the Patriots. How do you see that game unfolding?
Well, I never want to underestimate Bill Belichick. He is he's marketed himself as a genius. Look at his resume. His portfolio holds Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's, to credit of Tom Brady. But you never want to underestimate a coach like that. So, I'm expecting it to be a close game. But I do think the Cowboys will, push a little harder. And, and if the Cowboys do make this a blowout, it's going to shock a lot of people.
All right. And then now, in your division, who's your biggest rival? Who do you dislike the most in your division?
Oh, it's definitely got to be the Eagles. Eagles, it's just the fans, the way they talk, and it's, they're passionate, but it is what it is,
City of brotherly love, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, how about outside the division?
Outside the division, over the years, I've had to, I've grown to not like the Patriots, to be honest. They're just winning too much.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's pick.
So it's just, I'm glad to see them not on the top anymore. It's good to see some other teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, good for them. They got a squad. But I really don't have any hate for any particular team. I just want to see some good football and root for the Cowboys.
Nice. All right, and then two more questions. How about that week 1 loss against the Bucks?
Get out of here.
Hey, well, you know what? Hey, that's fair. That's okay, But
that was a close game.
I remember after that game, everybody talking about there are no moral victories, and to me, really, it was because we were expecting Dak Prescott to come in here and stink it up. We didn't know what to expect,
Yeah, you guys did good.
So to have them be in a close game like that and to potentially have won it, you know, I know the Cowboys missed some field goals. It just goes to show that, you know, we can compete with the best of them right now. And Tom Brady and the Bucs are no joke, you know. So we'll see how the season goes. We'll see how far we can get done with this thing. But like I said, right now it's fun, you know, but we can't allow it to get us too confident. We got to stick to the guns, stick to the basics, and just get these games played.
Yep. It's a long season. And last question. So, man, what are your thoughts about John Gruden?
Well, you know, John Gruden is, you know, it's. I remember, you know, watching Jake, you're being a Bucs fan, Raiders fan, you know, seeing them go to the Super Bowl and seeing him do that for you, and it was a special thing. But you know, we can't take those away from him. But you know, it's just sad to see, you know, that what you say, what you do behind closed doors, you got to know that at some point anything in the dark will come to light.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, unfortunately for him, that's the way he spoke. And, you know, if that's truly what's in his heart, then he needs to find help. He needs to understand that, you know, it's not allowable to talk that way to people. And it causes pain. So it's not right.
All right. I guess the last question, you've seen Kedarius Toney take a swing at a player's helmet, right?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. Have you ever swung at a hard surface like that before?
You know, I think I have, but I was like in school, you know, and in high school, and you know, it was the dumbest thing I ever did. But it's just funny to me to see these. I understand football's a high intensity sport. You got guys in there that are high intensity. Their motors are revved up, and you know, somebody does something to you, push you, you're gonna retaliate. But I've never understood somebody taking a swing at a helmet.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. It's like, you know, trying to punch a pole or something. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
A metal wall or something. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's what he did, and I'm sure he's gonna have to pay the consequence for that. So, yeah.
All right, James. We'll go ahead and let you go, man.
All right, James.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate that.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Later. Bye.
All right. So, as we mentioned, Dak Prescott went off. We'll go ahead and go into the stats now. So Dak went 22 for 32 for 302, 3 touchdowns in that early pick in that first drive. After that, he definitely got his game together. Ezekiel Elliott went 21 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown. He also added 2 catches for 2 yards and a touchdown. So he had 2 touchdowns on the day. And Tony Pollard had 14 carries for 75 yards. So, you know, he had a pretty good game. And also, Tony Pollard also had 4 catches for 28 yards. So Pollard's been playable. Zeke's definitely been one of the best fantasy options this year. And then CeeDee Lamb, so 6 targets, caught 4 for 84 and a touchdown. As James mentioned, he had that really beautiful looking ball from Dak. And then Amari Cooper also had 6 targets, caught 3 for 60 and a touchdown. But it looks like, as far as the tight ends, Dalton Schultz definitely moved past the other. What's the other guy's name?
Blake Jarwin.
So yeah, Dalton Schultz had 8 targets, caught 6 for 79. So it looks like they found their 3 main receivers right there. However, is it time to go ahead and let go of their third receiver, the one who went off last year? What's the name?
Gallup.
Yeah, is it time to let
He's
go?
been injured.
Oh, is he injured?
He's on IR since week 1.
Got it.
So it's only going to get scary.
Wow.
That's what James was saying.
Good point. Yeah.
See, a lot of people don't know that. We're missing so many starters, and people don't even realize that.
Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and we got to talk about him. Trevon Diggs, as we mentioned, he has another interception.
Can you dig it?
I think that's an interception every game so far.
Yeah, every game.
Yeah, he's on pace for like 15 picks this season. Something crazy.
And like James was just saying, I'll keep it short because he did have a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch the Cowboys defense right now. You know, normally you don't want a 3 and out and all that, or your offense to stall. But now as a Cowboy fan, you're like, okay, let's see if Diggs gets his interception this game.
That's true.
So it's always just something to watch now, and it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, we said it last week, you know, put Diggs' name on your back because he put this Dallas defense on his.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely – he can't throw his way. They keep throwing it to him. But he – you know, I got to go ahead and watch him.
Mm-hmm.
He plays like a receiver.
Yeah,
He knows
he was a receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Alabama.
No, he knows these routes better than the receivers, and he's also his hands are better than 70% of most receivers out there.
And you know, it's funny. He did an interview after the game, and he said him being a receiver has helped him. And if you look at that interception in that game, he became the receiver.
Exactly.
It was a long bomb, and he ended up being the one in better position and caught it, high pointed it. Man,
what I love about him is he's looking back. He's watching the ball like a receiver, as you mentioned, where most DBs backs will be to the quarterback. He's running the routes with him, and he's turning as if if he keeps it up, man, he can break all corner records as far as interceptions. I'll ask you, how did Micah Parsons look this game?
He looked great. He looked good. He's getting in there. He's disruptive.
Yeah, because before this week, you guys had released Jalen Smith. So we were wondering if this defense would be able to continue. Looks like they continue just fine. All right, so let's look at the Giants side of the ball. Man, oh man, they took a lot of injuries this week.
They did.
So Daniel Jones went 5 for 13 for 98 yards, and then he had 3 carries for 9 yards, and then one of them was the one that knocked him out. Got a concussion. And then also even Saquon Barkley, just a random. He was just running, and then the guy put his foot down just under his, and his whole ankle turned. So.
And that's happened to me before, so I know that pain.
Yeah,
man.
And like James said, injuries happen to every team, but when it does happen to some of your biggest players on the team, it's definitely hard to overcome.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, they said, I saw a news blurt saying Daniel Jones may play this week. He's looking good, so we'll see what happens. But it was a breakout game for Kedarius, Toney.
I picked him up.
Yeah, he had 13 targets, caught 10 for 189, was going to go over 200. But as we mentioned, punched the guy in the helmet.
Man, what was he thinking?
I hope his hands are – then it said he was hurt after the game. I wonder why.
God.
But, no, okay, punch the helmet. Yeah, you're expressing your anger. Grab his face mask or something. You're going to get ejected either way and fined.
Man.
Don't hurt yourself. Grab a face mask. But – whatever.
See, and that's the only thing I think with the Giants fans. Shout out to Craig if you're seeing this, and anybody other Giant fan. So this was their first round pick, and he hadn't been playing. He started getting playing time, I think, past 2 weeks, and then he has this blow up game, and then he does that, and it's like, oh, okay, I see why the Giants have been reluctant with him because maybe it's a personality thing, but he's gonna have to control that. Yeah,
and I did see his highlights. No, he's a really good player.
Human joystick.
Yeah, he gets the ball and he's like, like he's looking for the best cut, and he's moving really good without the ball. So, or with and without. So yeah, they really got to keep playing him. But we got to mention him, Devontae Booker, who came in for an injured Saquon. He played actually pretty good. So he had 16 carries, 42 yards, which isn't good average, but he did have the touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown, went 3 for 16. Other than that, I mean, wasn't much to mention. Evan Ingram had 4 targets, caught 455. Galladay had 3 targets, caught 0. We already know that. Also Galladay did get hurt this game.
That's what I was. Yeah.
And then Slayton was also injured this game, as well as their other receiver,
Shepherd.
Yeah,
it was tough, man.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep an eye on the injuries there. But as far as picking up a player, Kedarius Toney, I tried to. I wasn't able to get him.
I got him in all 3 of my leagues.
I even tried for Devontae Booker, but I wasn't able to get him either because we don't know how long Saquon will be out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But all right. So the Giants, as we mentioned, will be taking on the the Cowboys will be taking on the Patriots, and the Giants next week will be taking on the Rams. So
sorry, Giants fans.
See what happens. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Sunday night game. The Buffalo Bills defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 38-20. This moves Buffalo Bills to 4-1 and the Kansas City Chiefs to 2-3. Were you able to watch this game?
Yeah. It's funny because I was watching it. It's good, right? Mahomes versus Josh Allen. And I remember I had to go use the restroom. So I went to go use the restroom, and I came back out. Halftime was still on. And I remember telling my dad, right, he was watching. I was like, oh, man, that's a long halftime. I was like, oh, dang. I thought it would be on already. Anyways.
Is there a delay?
So I didn't know at the time, right? Because I was in the bathroom. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I come out, and my brother was over at the time. They were doing some karaoke in the backyard. So I came, and there was the game on. We have a TV up here. So I put the game on, and then I'm like, man, it's still halftime. So I grabbed the remote, and I started fast forwarding it, and it was live. So I was like, what? what is going on? This is weird. Comes to find out, then it on the bottom, weather delay. And I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was a weather delay for 62 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long delay.
Man.
Yeah, it was definitely a long delay. And yeah, but let's go into it. So the Buffalo Bills, they looked in control of this thing from the second quarter. And what I noticed is their defense, they definitely were able to stop Patrick Mahomes. And then they said, oh, we were able to learn as much about Mahomes because their other Trubisky, he said he runs around all the time too. So we were able to practice with Trubisky and learn the way Mahomes plays. So that's a good point. Even in the Super Bowl, I believe one of our Levante David said, stop all this scramble drill. So Mahomes, what he does every single play almost, which is why almost he don't need a good O-line. He runs around every play, and then he just kind of waits for plays to develop as he scrambles out of the pocket every single time. But it's always worked. But this game, Buffalo Bills, their corners definitely shut down every receiving core they had. But let's get into it. So we'll look at the Chiefs side of things. So Patrick Mahomes went 33 of 54, which that kind of percentage from Mahomes is rare, for 272 yards for 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. He also added 8 carries for 61 yards. As we mentioned, he was coming from behind. So even coming from behind, for him to only get 272 yards is rare to see from Mahomes.
I got to ask you real quick, though, before we go. Do you think teams are catching on to Mahomes?
Yeah, because what did they lose now? 2 in a row?
Right?
3 in a row? It might be 2 or 3, yeah. I don't want to say yes because other than this week, he's still been balling out. So last week, he still had a really good game. I think Herbert just outplayed him, at the very end. So I don't want to say they are, but no, I didn't know. I think it's more so this defense, Chiefs defense. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think they're figuring them out. But as far as the running backs go, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire did suffer an injury, but before he did, he ran the ball 7 times for 13 yards, and he only had 1 catch for 11 yards. But he's hurt, and they even added him to the IR.
Yeah.
So it looks like Darrell Williams will take over the backfield. As far as the rest of this game, you didn't see much as far as the carry side of the ball, but Tyreek had 13 targets, only caught 7 for 63. Kelsey had 10 targets, caught 6 for 57 and a touchdown. Mecole Hardman had 12 targets, caught 9 for 76. And the other touchdown went to Byron Pringle. He caught 2 for 11 and a touchdown. And Josh Gordon, he was in there. He caught 1 for 11 yards. And then he also had a costly penalty where it called back a first down. I saw that. Yeah. I find myself this game really rooting against the Chiefs.
Me too.
And I couldn't explain why, but every time I was really glad. I don't know. Yeah, I believe that they are now kind of in a way the dark side. How we used to look at the Patriots. I feel like that's the Chiefs now, for some reason.
No one will ever be the Patriots.
Not as bad, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I did find myself rooting against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it was odd when that call came back. I'm like, yes. I'm like, what am I doing? I don't care. But no, it was all right. We'll go ahead and look at the Buffalo Bills side of the ball. So Josh Allen went 15 for 26 for 315 yards, 3 touchdowns and no picks. He also had 11 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. And as an owner of Josh Allen, I love this game. 4 touchdowns, 59 yards on the ground. It was really good. Do you have any Bills on your team?
I have their defense.
Defense. Oh, nice. Yeah. This they look like the best defense in the league right now.
Oh yeah.
Even this week against Mahomes, like to be able to learn that about Mahomes and know what he does and be able to beat that, that's just sign of a really good defense. Zach Moss had 11 carries for 37 yards, and Devin Singletary had 6 carries for 25 yards. You'd want to see more from your running backs, but I mean Zach Moss did add 3 catches for 55 yards. Yeah, but what it comes down to is this receiving core. So Dawson Knox had 4 targets, caught 3 for 117 yards and a touchdown. I picked him up in one league.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs had 5 targets. He only caught 2 for 69. Emmanuel Sanders had 5 targets, caught 3 for 54 and 2 touchdowns. Yes, seems like this week you're just going to roll the dice and see who can get those targets and those touchdowns. Because this offense, as we mentioned last week, I don't know if they're going to slow down.
Yeah.
But I guess we can go ahead and move on now. So the Chiefs, as we mentioned, will be playing the Washington football team. That might be a get back right game from
I'll be
Mahomes.
rooting for the Chiefs this game.
Yeah, you know what? Mahomes might throw 7 touchdowns this week. We'll see. And then the Buffalo Bills will be Monday night against the Titans, as you mentioned. All right, let's go ahead and look at the final game of Week 5. The Indianapolis Colts lose 25-31 to the Baltimore Ravens. I saw the first half of this game, and I was surprised by what I was seeing, so I turned the game off. Were you able to see the whole game?
No. I didn't watch the whole game.
Yeah, so I kind of kept my eyes on this on the chat, and Lamar Jackson at the second half of this game just came back with a flurry. All right, so in the third quarter, it was 22-3. So at the low end of the third quarter is when this Baltimore defense, or should I say Lamar Jackson, or not defense, offense, or should I say Lamar Jackson, went on a tear. He scored a touchdown, Colts scored a field goal, and then 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to take it into overtime, and Lamar Jackson in the overtime just finished it.
I missed a really good game then.
Yeah, it was a really good finish to the game. And then the next morning, this is where everybody was talking about Lamar Jackson being MVP again.
I can see why. I mean, they were down that much.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Lamar Jackson went 37 for 43 for 442 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had 14 carries for 62 yards.
Well, that's crazy.
Also, they snapped the record of the Ravens as a team not getting over 100 rushing yards. But what's crazy is, 37 for 43. He only had 5 incompletions. And what's been the knock on Lamar Jackson his whole career is his arm.
Yeah.
He 442 yards.
A good defense too.
Yeah.
Colts defense isn't bad.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, we'll keep an eye on them. And then, like we said, this next week, they'll be taking on the Chargers. So then we'll see what happens.
I'm thinking Herbert's MVP right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But now that some people are saying it's Lamar Jackson, okay, this is one of those games where
Chargers got a good defense, but we just saw what the Browns did to them. But that was mostly on the ground. Yeah,
so when you go and, the people that get to vote the MVP, I think this game will be held in mind.
That's true.
So.
That's true. But as far as the running game, so Tyson Williams only had 4 carries for 6 yards, which is not good. Latavius Murray led the backfield in carries, had 6 for 17, which is not good. So they were not able to get anything going as far as rushing the ball, but they were able to pass the ball quite effectively, Lamar Jackson. And here we go. Mark Andrews. If you had Mark Andrews going Monday night, you were just so happy. He had 13 targets, caught 11 for 147 and 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, his other guy who's been a stud all season, Marquise Hollywood Brown, he had 10 targets, caught 9 for 125 and 2 touchdowns. I knew a few people going into this game where he's like, I need this crazy amount of points from Mark Andrews. I need a crazy amount of points from Marquise Brown and Lamar.
And they got it.
It was so I think a lot of teams won this game because the Raven offense. Outside of those 2 players, not many other. Nobody else is worth mentioning on this offense. Devin Duvernay had 4 targets, caught 4 for 45. But it was all Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, Lamar Jackson show. Play them every single week. As far as the Colts side of things, so we clown him every week, but this game he had a good game. So Carson Wentz.
What's kind of interesting is we did that first segment last weekend. Do you remember what Brenton said about Carson Wentz?
Greatest of all time.
Right. I mean, dang, he had a pretty good game after that was said about him.
He might have caught it.
Shout out to Carson Wentz for checking out our podcast.
Yep.
We know you heard that.
And you got a fan here. But he went 25 for 35 for 402 yards and 2 touchdowns with no picks. So he had a really good game. He also had 5 yards on the ground, which ain't much, but Jonathan Taylor had a pretty good game as well. He had 15 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. And Marlon Mack, again, had a pretty good game, 5 carries for 47. The only thing is they're siphoning carries away from Jonathan Taylor. It doesn't look as they're as effective as Tony Pollard or Kareem Hunt, but let's talk about it. Jonathan Taylor had 3 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
So on the day he had 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
he's balling right now.
Nice, yeah. As far as the receiving, Michael Pittman had 7 targets, caught 6 for 89 and a touchdown. So he's available in a few leagues. You might want to go ahead and take a look at him and pick him up even. Paris Campbell had 6 targets, caught 4 for 56. And Zach Pascal, so not much.
And T.Y. Hilton return to practice for the Colts today, so
Interesting.
that might help out.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, keep firing Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz. I mean, I got him on the watch list
Yeah,
now.
keep your eye on him now.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that was interesting to see. So, the Ravens next week will be taking on the Chargers, as we just mentioned. And we'll see what Lamar can do against them. And then the Colts will be playing against the Houston Texans, both teams 1-4. All right. So, that's all the games for this week. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to do our special little segment. All right, welcome to our segment again, quick hits from a 10-year-old. And this week we'll be going into 10 or so players that our neighborhood 10-year-old has and see what they think about certain players. Maybe your favorite player. Let's go ahead and start. All right, Brenton, what do you think about John Gruden?
Bad, because I don't know him.
All right, what do you think about Michelin tires?
Good.
Oh, Brenton, what do you think about punching hard surfaces?
That's dumb. Why would he punch hard surfaces?
I know, right? Brenton, what do you think about Kedarius Toney?
Role model.
All right, Brenton, what do you think about Justin Herbert?
Good.
All right, what do you think about Patrick Mahomes?
Bad.
All right, Brenton, what do you think about Trevon Diggs?
Bad.
All right, what do you think about Joe Montana?
Good.
Oh, good. Okay. What do you think about Lamar Jackson?
Go.
All right, we have two more left. What do you think about Mason Crosby?
Good.
All right, good, Mason Crosby. All right, and last but not least, let's talk about him. What do you think about Micah Parsons?
The baddest of all time.
The baddest.
Wait, the baddest of wait. Does that mean he's sorry or he's good bad?
Like he's a bad boy, like in a good way.
Which
or?
one?
Sorry.
Oh, all right, you heard it here. Micah Parsons, Mason Crosby, Lamar, all of them. That's what he thinks of them. And you can't question it. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this week, week 5 in NFL. We'll go ahead and catch you guys next week. Take care. Later.